I showed you guys this piece of wood not too long ago. It's very crooked and wobbly now since it dried out. I had a piece of long cedar that I cut with a chainsaw, and since it got cut like this, well, it dried out and became an issue. Which I knew it weren't going to be straight to begin with because I cut it with a chainsaw with no rail, but it wasn't that bad. But that's okay. It's going to give us something to work with. I'm going to show you the piece of cedar I cut it out of. That's the round or the log that the cedar came out off of, and got wet now, but it had some beautiful color in it, so I'm hoping I can get it fixed up and do some work to it, bring the color back out so we can make some nice table out of it. Let me show you what my plans are. I have a bunch of 2x6s left over from when I built the corner of the shelter here, so I had them stacked up out back. So first I'm gonna cut it down to size with the chop saw here, and then what I'm gonna do is measure it off and then rip it down on the table saw there and build me kind of like a box frame all the way around it. And then what I'm going to do, which it's going to be about as high as, right at where the lip is, about maybe just a smidgy higher than what the high spot is. Because the plan is to use this. I bought a set of these, and I really just needed the big one, the 3/4. I wanted one a little bit bigger than that, but it's okay. I got a 3/4 one. It looks to be about 1 inch tall, but I'm gonna put it on my router and build me a sled for the router to sit in, and then let me show you, gradually lower down the bit, a little at a time, and take the router and go like that through the sled, and it's gonna eat it down. And then once I get it pretty smooth, I'm just gonna take the hand sander and really smoothen it out and get all these rough cuts out, and then try and get some kind of stain or oil or epoxy or something to really bring this color out. It's going to be pretty, I think. And then we'll build some legs on it, go from there. Let me start working on the frame. All right, so we got them cut down to the length we need. Now I got to cut them or rip them. I went ahead and measured pretty much where the highest spot was, the best I could, on that blank I got. And 2 inches will give me a little bit of buffer zone. That way I can run the sled over it without catching on it. So now we just got to do some common sense here. Blade, we got to raise it up, but you don't really want it higher. So that's still too high. You don't really want it too much higher than what your wood is. I mean, use a little common sense with it. That's pretty good. But now I got to move this out of the way, frame a guard over here, and I'm going to measure from the tip of the blade 2 inches. I mean, you gotta compensate for the thickness of the blade. So I always measure from like the far side of one of them little teeth right there. Then however far I need, 2 inches. That way I would run it, it'd give me what I need. I probably could get 2 inches out of this one instead of cutting that one. We'll see. See if I can get 2 out of this one. And then we'll do the same thing with this spot. Let me rip them down real quick. Alrighty, frame is built. I was able to get 2 pieces out of each blank that I cut, so that worked out fantastic because now we can use those to make the actual sled portion. Like I said, it's about 2 inches thick from here. All I did was clamp the corners, drill me 2 pilot holes, and then put some screws in. Screws I use for these, just regular old wood screws. I'm not going to leave them in there. I'm going to take it back apart, so I don't really care about what screws they are. When I'm done, this is going to come back apart, and I can put the screws back in my bin. Not bad. So now I just need to get the blank cedar in there, and I'm probably going to also take these same screws and kind of go in from the side on each corner and just barely go through here and then barely stick it into the side of the cedar. That way it holds it level. So that way when I'm going back and forth with the sled, it won't be all wobbly. I'd actually be able to cut through and eat it like it's supposed to, hopefully. Let me start measuring the sled with the router, and we'll be back. All right, kind of somewhat made a very quick, simple, easy to do sled. All I did was just cut down some framing to make it where the bit would fit through like that, and then put some rail or guides on the bottom. That way, when you go up and down, you can also go left and right, just like that. And the idea is you're gonna go up and down and up and down and up and down. Now, and then eventually start lowering it the more you need. Now, obviously you got to be careful because it's going to start eating this pretty quick, but that's okay, I don't mind. You pretty much just want to keep it where the base isn't going to eventually fall through. Now, I put the guides on the bottom instead of on top. Before I was gonna put them on top and not even thinking about it, just so I had like a bumper to keep these together. But then I realized, you know, guides, rails, I mean, it goes around the box. I'm sure someone's gonna be like, yeah, you should have done it like this. I've seen people box in the entire thing, but I didn't feel like wasting time on it. I just put 2 slats, 2 rails, screw in each one. Let's see what happens, see how long it lasts. Obviously, I'm not gonna route it on top of this table. I'm gonna put it somewhere flat. Man, that thing worked fantastic. Just made a mess, obviously, but I figured to eat my sled. That's no big deal. I can make another one. So the idea is now clean all this mess up with the shop vac, flip it over, and do it again, but this time I won't have to cut down as much. I purposely did the worst side first. That's a mouthful. Did that side first because it looked like crap. Now I can flip it over and reset the height on my router and just kind of barely go down just a little bit to kind of level it off. And then take the sander, sand it down, and go pick out some kind of stain or clear coat or varnish or something. I don't know. Let me get this cleaned up. I finished doing the top and the bottom. It ate my sled some. It actually did better than I thought. As you can see, I still got like the little side grooves or the little grooves between the bit. That's fine. I don't mind it. I'm going to sand it anyway. I'm probably going to sand it 2 or 3 times. I think I'm going to do this as the bottom and then flip it over and do that as the top just because of the way I like this piece of wood grain right here, the edge wood. There's one over here as well. I forgot to show you the mess it made before I started vacuuming it, but I got a short, like a video short on my channel as well that I just put up there, and you saw like it was all over here. It smelled like a doghouse in there. It filled up my 5-gallon shop vac, and as you see, I still got some I got to clean up. So I'm gonna finish cleaning that up, and then I'm gonna pull my sled off and my frame, and then start sanding it down and try and make it nice and smooth. This is cool. It's really turning out amazing to me. And I like how it's got a little bit of rough steel right there where it's not 100% perfect, because that's like a little thinner right there. And instead of shaving down the entire thing another 1/8 of an inch or so, I'm just going to kind of smooth that out with the sander and just kind of let it be. And then, like I said, I don't know if I want to put some stain, just some resin or epoxy or some clear or some, they got some stuff called shellac or something like that. I don't know, I can't remember what it's called, but I'm gonna find something. I don't know what I'm gonna do yet. So let me go clean my mess up and I'm start sanding this. I brought it inside because it's getting kind of windy out there and I didn't want it to mess up the camera too bad. This is kind of what the final sanding looks like. Yes, I know it is imperfect and I like that. I love it. That's where my chainsaw kind of ate down a little bit right there. I love it though. A couple of knots, a whole lot of knots. That's where the big old branches were sticking out. I think I'm gonna make this the top and this end with some shelves. Here's the bottom. Beautiful color in it, man. Beautiful color. And some people are like, why don't you put that on the top? It's got more space. But I don't know. There's just something about the other side. It just speaks to me better. I like it. It's imperfect, like me. I think I might make this into a 2-part series because this is going to be a long video. So I did not go with what I wanted to for the gloss. Let me get what I got real quick. I got this. Never tried it. But what I was going to get, I had some here, but it was old, and I tested it on some other piece of wood. And I don't know if it was just old or the way it wasn't cut right or sanded. I mean, it wasn't even sanded. It looked like crap. And so I didn't know if it was just old, so I went to Lowe's. And to get another can that I would probably never use was like $26. And I was like, man, I'm not spending 26 bucks on that. I had that. I'm going to try it. I'm going to test it out on a corner somewhere. And I figure worst case, if it don't work out right, it's sandable, so I can sand it down and try something else. So let me wipe this down and so I went ahead and started playing around with this a little bit, and I'm actually kind of a fan of this. That is one kind of thin coat of this compared to just raw sanded. And what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to do that sounds ridiculous. What I'm going to do is cover the whole thing, let it dry and cure, then give it a kind of quick light sanding and do a heavy thick coat. That way it really has time to absorb into that wood and all the fibers, and then I can kind of scuff it up on the outside to get any imperfections, because you can see it's got some lighter darker spots, which obviously that's going to also depend on the piece of wood. And with what this went through, it's going to have a lot of characteristics like that. But it's cool to me. I'm really enjoying this. I hope you guys really should try something like this. Even if it's not woodworking, just anything, artwork, do some welding, do some programming, you know, build a PC, detail a car, just anything. Get out there and have some fun and enjoy yourself. This is going to be awesome. I can't wait to see the final product to show you guys.